You.
It's like Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone at home. Welcome to the Bangor School Committee. This is a regular meeting. Today is Wednesday, December 13th. So we'll go ahead and get started. Please join me in the pledge. The United States of America. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Superintendent Taylor, are there any adjustments to the agenda?
No adjustments, Chair.
So public comments, and just as a reminder, members of the public may address the school committee for up to 3 minutes on school and education matters. Public comments shall be directed to the school committee and be brief and not repetitive. The school committee's practice is not to respond or debate with speakers during the public comment period. We are here to listen. The superintendent or his staff will follow up on comments outside of the meeting as appropriate. The committee will not permit profanity or shouting and request that speakers be civil. Discussion of specific personnel or student matters and complaints concerning specific employees or students will not be allowed, but will be addressed through established policies and procedures. Speaking, we encourage speakers to review school committee policy AC, which provides that the committee does not and will not discriminate nor tolerate discrimination against students or employees on the basis of membership in protected class. Speakers who share comments contrary to this policy will not be allowed to continue. And before starting, we ask that speakers state their name and place of residence. And do we have any public comments tonight? Seeing none, we move on to superintendent's proposals and updates. We have no action items. We have several informational items. The first one is the budget process.
Sure, thank you, Chair. I'm going to present today a budget introduction, and Business Director Jerry Hagan will also be available to some questions that you might have. I just kind of summarize to start with. We talked about, we had the joint meeting with the City Council, and we talked at that day, we shared with you the COVID personnel expenditures on 11/29. We also shared the timeline for the budget. So those are two things we talked about previously. Other factors I want you to think about as we go into budget season in January. We will have contract negotiations that do definitely impact our budget. Member Sprague and Member Luciano will be representing the school committee in the negotiation process, as well as Jerry Naaman, Kathy, Dan Stockford, and myself. So that's our team that will be working on that together. Other thing that you have in your handout, if you want to look, there's two things I want to draw your attention to. One of them is the Bangor School Department estimated general fund revenue. And if you look in your packet, you'll see a form and it'll say, just as I said, estimated general fund revenue 2023-2024 EPS model. If you look in the fourth column, it'll say 2023-2024 proposed. If you look at the bottom of that column, 56,499,152 was last year's budget. So I just want to kind of show that to you as a little bit of introduction. The next page that you see, there is a line by line explanation, and there's 21 lines. So as we start to look at the budget, this will tell you what each line represents. This is just kind of the basics for you as we go into the budget season. The fourth thing, we have a video for you that Ray and I worked on together. We've talked about specific COVID personnel expenditures. You'll see some of that in the video. You will also see footage that represents the strategic plan. So we talked about pathways to excellence, the area of excellence, teaching and learning, engaged relationships, and safety and well-being. So let's show the video, and then we'll take any questions.
You're broken down and tired Proud, and you can find out I did you, so we gon' walk it out. We gon' walk it out.
That's just a little summary of, $56 million that you'll get to decide where we spend, but there's so many important things that go on in the school district. Those are all things that have been discussed in our strategic plan. Coming up in February, you'll hear about full day pre-K, and you'll also hear about emergency lockdowns and those type of things. That's at our February meeting. Also, you had requested Oak Point, and that will happen in January to look at the long-term plans for the school district. So that's just an overview. We'll talk much more in January. Are there any questions you would have for Jerry or myself at this time?
Thank you so much. That's a wonderful video. And I think we've gotten some feedback about the sound not being audible, so just make sure that you pull this a little closer for all of us. Next, we move on to the strategic plan review.
Thank you, Chair. Principals Michael Misbrenner, William S. Cohen School, Samuel Mooring, James F. Gotti School, Ryan Edmond, Fairfield School, Daniel Chadbourne, Mary Snow will present to the committee information of the Bangor School Department's strategic plan pathways to excellence, engage relationships, goal number 2. 95% of students will participate in at least 2 extra or co-curriculars. Engage relationships, goal number 3. 100% of Bangor schools will offer a minimum of 10 parent activities. Go for it.
Good, great, excellent. Hello. My name is Dan Chadbourne. I'm honored to be the principal of the Mary Snow School. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about our strategic plan, specifically in our Pathways to Excellence plan, the focus on engaged relationships. As you already heard, behind me is Mr. Edmond, Mr. Mispler, and Mr. Mooring. They'll be speaking after me. But I'm going to start a little bit with some extracurricular activities. Matt, if you want to go to the next slide, you're more than welcome to. Somebody just got it. Thank you very much. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about extracurricular activities. You see some photos there. Like Superintendent Tager said, 95% of our students will participate in at least 2 extracurricular activities per year. I would tell you that last year we typically do very well at this goal. This goal is usually well over 95%, if not 100%. My time at 14th Street and at Mary Snow School, we've hit it every year. We're on track currently to hit it. Some examples of these goals or these clubs that we do have include chess club, language club, floor hockey club, Foursquare club, math club, chorus, band, strings, homework club, mentoring club, art club. New this year at Mary Snow's digital art club. That's a really exciting one. We have a book club, field hockey club, a science club. Fairmount does a lot with theater club, cheerleading club, and many more. What I really like about a lot of the activities that we do, they're very student driven. None of these, we come up with our own ideas too to kind of encourage and facilitate the process a little bit. But throughout the entire school year, we get a lot of student requests for their own type of clubs. Kind of case in point this year, we have a wonderful little friend at Mary Snow, and they were really excited about Foursquare. Quiet, they don't say a lot during the school day, very kind. I would say needs some facilitation with participation. Student came to one of his teachers and said, I really enjoyed Foursquare, what do you think? And Mrs. Bangor stepped up to the occasion and ran a few weeks of Foursquare Club. And the reason I want to kind of highlight that out is A, because it was really a student-driven decision. But B, what was the really cool thing about it is that this student didn't know a lot of kids in other classrooms because at the 4-5 level, primarily you're still with one classroom. And what was exciting to see is him walking down the hallway one day and friends that aren't in his classroom saying hello to him. And as they pass each other by, and I'm standing kind of as the wallpaper in the background, to see him lift his head up a little higher and walk down that hallway with a little bit more intention, a little bit more purpose. And that's, that's the point I like about this goal. So it's actually my favorite goal because as a student that really needed to have an engaged relationship with teachers and peers across the district, it resonates quite a bit with me, and I enjoy the number. But there's always a story behind all of these numbers that we really don't talk about a lot because we look and say, did we meet the goal? Cool, check box, let's move on. But a story like that and the inclusiveness in which we bring our after-school programming in, because all students participate, no matter what their demographic is, no matter what their socioeconomic status is, no matter what their education ability is, it's 100% participated by all of our students. And then at the end of all of that, it really creates more than just the fact that we held a chess club, but more of a sense of that we've built and created an environment which is belonging to everybody, that everyone has a sense of pride in, that cares for each other, and communicates with each other throughout the day beyond the club, then generally gets to what the ultimate goal, I think, of this area too is, which is the sense of community. And we all play a part in it, and we're all here to lift each other up and provide that support for them to actively and successfully feel good about being in school, which then hopefully makes them want to come and raises attendance. So that's my part. I'm going to introduce Mr. Mooring right now from James F. Dowdy School.
Hello, everyone. Sam Mooring from James F. Dowdy School, principal, and I used to be the assistant principal athletic director, so this is right up my alley. Once again, the middle school administrators have to follow Mr. Chadbourne. It's just the nature of this. But real quickly about athletics, the big change when kids get to middle school is there's the introduction of competitive athletics. The 2 middle schools, each school offers 9 different athletics over fall, winter, and spring. They're listed right there. Football is shared between the 2 schools, but other than that, schools operate their own programs. Field hockey's been shared the last few years just because of numbers. But we compete in 4 different leagues. We offer A and B levels in most sports so that kids can compete on an appropriate level. Another thing we've tried to encourage over the last 5 years especially is a connection with Bangor High School athletics. So there's almost always a connection between, if you're on the football team, you're somehow connected to Bangor High football. For example, Coach Huber, the Bangor High cross country, their whole team runs the Doughty cross country meet. Coach Mosca approached us last year about having Cohen and Doughty practice with the state champion track team over at Cameron Stadium, so that was great. And also, Mr. Misburn will talk about this more, but our intramural team for swimming is completely run by Bangor High. The students run it, the Bangor High coaches are there, but the kids are in control of the whole thing. So that's only 9 things. I think last year we offered 50-something extracurriculars. So it's just a small fraction, but I don't want to steal Mr. Misburn's thunder, so.
Well, I guess I have some things to live up to here. But it's my pleasure. Good evening, everybody. My pleasure to talk about really an important aspect of the school day for our students. I kind of want to begin tonight by sharing how amazing our students were at last night's middle school concert, which was held here at Peaks Auditorium. And it was really just impressive to watch and listen to the students and the bands of both schools, chorus, orchestra perform. And I think a highlight too is just the incredible parent support that took place at Peaks last night. There were very few seats that were open. It was really impressive to see, and I appreciate Mr. Kager being there to support our students at the middle school concert. So that's just really one example of how students are engaged at school in co-curricular activities at the middle level. Also want to stress that students in the performing arts arrive at school early, before school starts, 7:20ish, 7:30, they're there. They're working hard before their peers arrive at school. And their dedicated efforts during the course of this first couple months certainly was evident in the performance that took place last night. So I really appreciate the students and parents for making that commitment to performing arts. And really beyond the performing arts, both schools offer a variety of clubs that we, as Mr. Mooring said, to engage students, find something that maybe they already have a passion about and they can extend that, or maybe it's something new that they want to try based upon what our offerings are. So there are some of those activities are long-standing clubs that continue to attract interest, while others are newly formed on student interest, what Mr. Chadbourne was mentioning, and also teacher connection. So as the slide indicates, some examples that Mr. Mooring and I put on the slides. Again, some are more specific to some of the clubs are happening at both schools, some are more unique to the culture of each middle school. But as you can see, there are clubs, civil rights teams, student council. Really appreciate the leadership of our student councils at both schools. Mario Kart, band, chorus, orchestra, as I mentioned, Girls Who Code, newspaper, D&D or Dungeons and Dragons, Crafters Club, Rocket Club. So there's more than that, but really what as principal at the Cohen School, I want to just kind of highlight a few clubs that were generated from student interest that I just kind of noted here. It's first of all, the D&D club, as we call it, really was driven by student interest. Went to one of our teachers, new teachers, Ms. Sharapa, and she kind of took that on. She didn't know a lot about it talking with her, but the students coached her and brought her along, and they were just pleased to have her be part of that after school club. There's a lot of kids involved in that. Another thing I want to, Mrs. Bridges is leading a new club, started last year and this year, a podcast club. So we have students who are doing podcasts. And I just want to note, there's a picture up there on the slide I'm very proud of at Cohen is our Global Citizens Club. This is a new club which is directly connected to our diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging goal at Cohen. And Mr. Early has really taken the lead. He is one of our newer teachers, science teachers. And the club is to be mentor-mentee program for our new multilingual students that are part of our school community. So the goal is to really welcome them into our school community and make positive connections. Recently, they did a cultural Thanksgiving dinner. So some of the students brought in meals that represented their culture, and then we ordered some traditional Thanksgiving items as well. So it was really great. I appreciate Mr. Early and also Mrs. Whitman, our ML teacher, for doing that. And again, monthly, both schools, we put together activities, a monthly calendar that organizes the activities, so all students are aware of. And I think to close from my portion here, we just want to thank you for your support of the co and extracurricular activities, but also the teachers who are leading them. We're really fortunate to have great staff, faculty and staff who work with students after school in a variety of ways. And that's really something special, I think, about the school department in our school. So thank you very much. I'll introduce Mr. Enman, principal at the Fairmount School, for the next portion of our presentation.
Good evening. As Principal Ms. Brenna said, I'm Principal Ryan Inman of the Fairmount School. I'm going to talk about the engaged relationships part with. Now we get there. There we go. Engaged relationships, area number 3. 100% of Bangor schools offer a minimum of 10 parent activities. As Principal Chadbourne was talking about our schools, one of the things that Fairmount School has, down East School along with Vine Street, we're also a 21st century school. So we have a wide variety of the programs that we offer, a little bit different. And what I thought I'd talk about with you now is just some of the things that through 21st century that we've been able to do and include that in the parent activities. And also we are a Title I school, so we have a lot of peak events and we have those as well. So some of the peak nights, which is parent and educators accelerating kids, I believe Principal Butler coined that phrase many years ago, very, very creatively. Just to give you a little definition of the peak events, the purpose of the peak events is to educate and inform parents on ways to support their child's learning at home. These activities are funded through Title I. Along with some of those events, like at Fairmount, we've done already this year and the end of last year, we've done Scrabble nights, Yahtzee, Racco, Battleship, where families learn how to play games and we're given information around the benefits of playing a variety of games at home with the students. All families who attended these events and participated were given a game to continue to play at home through peak funds. Some skills that students gain through learning and practicing these family-friendly games are graphing, critical thinking, number sequencing, recognition of certain number combinations, increased awareness with counting, addition, multiplication, probability, planning, mental flexibility, and organization. We do a lot of combination events as well. So we had a great pumpkin giveaway, which you see down on the lower left-hand corner, which was a 21st century event. At the same time, we had a book fair going on at the school, a peak night, and our spaghetti dinner. So sometimes there's a whole lot. It's anything we can do to get folks in, and usually if there's food on the agenda, then it helps with the attendance. You also see we did a combination night with a star night, which is with the Challenger Learning Center and the 21st century. They were outside and it was all through the fields in between the 14th Street and Fairmount School were signs of about the stars and galaxies, and they would go through and answer questions about them. It was a very, very well attended event. We also have open houses, and we'll have showcase nights coming up at all the schools in March. So they'll be looking for those dates coming up. And particularly at the middle schools and high school, you have rewards nights and other recognitions. And of course, we have all the concerts coming up. So look for your school's concerts and a chance to get in and see all the great things that have been going on. So this time, any questions?
Thank you so much. Any questions? Member John Drew.
It's not a question, I'm not gonna put you on the spot. One of the things I really love hearing about these programs is the integration of the older students coming in to help facilitate a lot of these things. I know when I was little, I loved when the older students came from the other schools and kind of worked with us. And I happened to run into my 4th grade buddy the other day from when I was in 2nd grade. And we remembered each other and gave a big hug and talked about things. So I know that that's really important in terms of just like building the community for the students as they come up. So this is all lovely. Thank you so much for your presentation. But that's a really great way to go about it.
And a great point. We have Representative Chief Crespo comes to Fairmount School as part of our mentoring program, and it's so great to see the high school kids coming in and working with the students, so it's greatly appreciated and makes a great sense of community and connection.
Member Bryden?
Thank you very much, and thank you for this presentation. It was lovely. I loved seeing what all the schools are doing and especially engaging with each other. Thank you. I'm wondering, and forgive me if this is elsewhere and I haven't seen it, but the metrics for 95% and 100%, is that based on something? Is that, or how did you come up with these? I know you did not come up with, like, I'm not putting you on the spot. I know you were part of a larger process.
Actually, the SEC.
Or you did.
The SEC goals, which were created back with the strategic plan.
Yeah.
For this one, the Pathways Action. No, it's Pathways Action. We actually set those goals in at a 95% benchmark, something that was like that helping the students to participate in it. So we do, it's a lot easier to track at the high school where they have participation in sports and stuff, and then also at the middle schools. But we were able to do that through our after school programs, and we're able to look at the data as the year goes on to who's not being involved. We kind of, since most everybody's getting involved in these events, so tracking it is a real numbers piece.
Yeah.
But I said it's creative, more in the lower elementary. It's a little more creative with the activities that are going on and how we're getting them engaged. So,
Yeah, actually, it's a great question. A lot of it comes down to average daily attendance. So the federal government sets it at like 95% or better. And so we figured we would lower the bar. We would keep it the same and continue to increase. So the 95 number comes from there.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
I think member Threat.
Yeah, thanks very much for the presentation. And I just have a comment. I just want to express gratitude to the many adults that lead these clubs and the athletic, the sports. It's a lot of work and people do it because they love it and they love to see kids succeed and enjoy being at school doing an activity. So thank you.
And member O'Carey.
Yeah, thank you again. This was an enjoyable presentation. Made me smile, and I want to thank you guys for all the work that you've done for the community, the larger state of Maine. Your work doesn't go unrecognized. So thank you so much for that. You might not have answered this. You might have kind of answered it in your presentation. Maybe I'm putting you on the spot, but that's what I'm here for. Are you on track to meet these strategic goals like since 2022 or 2020? Have you met these goals every year? Do you know that, and do you foresee that continuing through the end of the strategic plan?
Yeah, I mean, I'll speak for Ryan and I, we're currently on track. I would say that as the year goes on, you see in the 4-5 realm, more clubs are offered, which gives more opportunity. Things start to generally start slow that first month. And as we go, it just kind of builds and builds and builds. And I would say probably usually around this end of the second semester into the third, you start to see way more student generated activities, which then increase participation. So I don't have an exact number for 4 or 5. I don't know if Ryan does, but I would say that we're approaching 85% that students have participated in, and we generally see a trend upward after January. And previously at Mary Snow and at Fairmount too, we've hit it the past 3 years, which is really impressive coming off COVID.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know at the middle level, Mrs. Loring, for example, gives me a report every Friday that sends Superintendent Dager about the percentage we're at. Keeps a giant spreadsheet, and we're close to 90% at one activity already, and we're at 60-ish for 2 already. Missed a giant screen. We should have had the school dance screen. Which we do keep real close track, and we're usually very, very close, and we're right on pace right now.
I just may add to the other important piece of keeping track is also to have the important conversations of students who maybe haven't chosen to engage in activities. So we've been fortunate, as Mr. Moore and the other persons mentioned, that there are students who are doing 1 or more, but it also allows us not only to look at the 95, but where are those students who maybe at mid-year haven't taken part in an activity and having a conversation with them or trying to connect them with something after school. So another part of the work that we're trying to do.
Member Chandra.
that comment spurred a question for my mind. Is there a typical reason why a student might choose not to participate in an after-school club? Is there like a trend or something you can find a commonality between the decisions, or is it really unique from student to student for whether or not?
Yeah, I think it's unique, I think, to each student. That's my take on it. But again, it's about engaged relationships and positive connections, and maybe there's a teacher on their schedule or someone that they can connect to in the building that you can say, okay, if the student hasn't, I would try to connect them with so and so. So nothing that stands out to me as trends per se. We do, I mean, one positive is students are also very much engaged in our community. So maybe that they're doing other things outside of school, but there are also students that we really want to pull in and get them connected.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd say at the lower elementary, the sports, a lot of students are into sports, and we have sports more of the intramural line, but if they're getting competitive sports or travel teams, they might be involved in that. And sometimes those are in our gyms. So. But it is interviewing the students and seeing what they're involved in, and so looking backwards from where are we at, where do we want to go to get back up.
Yeah, I would just add, because I think your question kind of leads to another question that maybe I have, or maybe I think of a lot, is that there's no barrier.
Yeah.
Right? Like if there is a reason the kid can't attend, and we can find a reason out, then we eliminate that barrier. Whether it's a ride, funding, like no one in our schools would go without the ability to be there. And if we had to tether some connections, we just do it.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
Well, and I'll jump in here. I think what I love so much about this list of clubs is that there's a taste or flavor for every interest, every student. The two that are near and dear to my heart are Girls Who Code. I really support that, and we want to challenge all of our female students into STEM and so forth, and global citizens. Some of the things that you are instilling into our students and our youth is things that I'm working with adults on. So the earlier, the better. And so I really thank you all for that. Quick question, you mentioned, several of you mentioned student-driven clubs or, student-led, I think, clubs. So what is like the criteria? Is there criteria? Like if a student comes up with a unique idea or club idea or thinking really outside the box, do you really support that? And, is there criteria in terms of numbers, or what does that process look like?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I love this one because when a kid comes to me and asks me about starting a club, I like to kind of like help them figure out what they mean, right? So if they come in and they say, I want to make comic books, which happened a couple of years ago. I like working with that student for a little bit of time to figure out exactly what their plan is and like how this looks. There's no criteria for the 4 or 5 level of, if you want to start with 5 kids coming to the club, great. If you want 1 or 2 kids, that's fine too, but traditionally we have like 30 or 40 or sometimes 50. But the fun part about that process is hearing their thinking and what they believe this is going to be. And we're gonna do it regardless. But it's fun to see them go through the creative process of like really what they're trying to get at. And usually it's a pretty phenomenal thing that they think of. But for us, it's probably the only obstacle is, I don't think it's different than anything in schools or anything in life. It's time and staffing, right? I mean, that's the biggest barrier. I mean, I don't think anyone in this room doesn't believe that I don't love school, because I do. And I think the enthusiasm that I show for it comes out in me to them all the time. That might be annoying for some of them. If I could keep them 12 hours a day, I would. But we're not supposed to do that.
And I think some of the clubs even have long wait lists, which is a good problem to have. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No. Thank you all so much. Okay, so next we move on to report of reassignment.
Reporting the following teacher reassignment. Jocelyn York, occupational therapist at 0.5 Mary Snow School, 0.5 Fairmont School to occupational therapist, 0.5 Mary Snow School, 0.4 Fairmont School, and 0.1 James F. Downey School.
Thank you. Moving on to business action items. We have action items. And the first one is the minutes for the regular meeting of November 29th, 2023.
I'm recommending approval of the draft minutes of the November 29th, 2023 regular school committee meeting.
Can I get a motion, please?
So, sorry, there's a correction, in the minutes, it says that, Sarah, member Sarah was on the DEI committee, and I'm on that.
Okay, correct that, thank you. So the EIB should,
And it's showing
Member Carey.
Carey.
okay, got it. I will get that, thank you.
And I don't believe I got a second.
Second,
Thank you. All in favor, other than the one correction.
Passes 7-0, thank you.
Next, we move on to certification of employment of the superintendent of schools.
Title 20A MRSA Section 10512 requires the school committee certify employment of the superintendent each December for the following school year. All main school units are required by law to have a superintendent. Bangor School Committee must vote to authorize the chair to complete the certification of employment form for the school year 2024-2025.
Motion, please.
So moved.
second,
Any questions or comments? All in favor.
7-0, thank you.
Next, we move on to the financial report, and we have September 2023 financial report.
I'm recommending approval of the September financial report.
Motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Any questions or comments about the report? All in favor.
7-0, thank you.
Next, we move on to nominations, and we have extra duty assignments.
I'm recommending committee approval of extra duty assignments for the school year 2023-2024. Katrina LaJoy, team leader specialties, William S. Cohen School, Taylor Blackwell, .5, winter JV cheering coach, Bangor High School, Jasmine Carver, .5, winter JV cheering coach, Bangor High School.
Any motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor.
Passes 7-0.
Next.
Abstention.
I'm saying, okay, 1 section, thank you, 6.
We're moving on to donations read by Member O'Carey.
To William S. Cohen School from Beth and Art Coaches, a cash donation to support students, having a total dollar value of $250. To Mary Snow School from Hannaford, a cash donation to support students, having a total value of $270. To Fruit Street School from Amy Coleman and Layman Wellahan, shoes and boots for students, having a total value of $300. To Down East School from Hannaford, a cash donation to support students, having a total value of $267. To Bangor High School from Sneaks and Dales LLC, a cash donation to support students in need, suitable footwear, having a total dollar value of $7,500.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Second. Any questions or comments? All in favor.
Passes 7-0, thank you.
Moving on to committee updates, but first, do you have any comments and or questions from the committee? Member Surratt.
thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to raise awareness on an issue that kind of caught my eye, a Bangor Daily News article recently, and the title of the article was Bangor City Council leaves neighborhoods without representation. And an important quote from the article said, most city councilors in Bangor live in or on the outskirts of just two neighborhoods, Fairmount and Little City. And they, the Bangor Daily was arguing this is not a good thing. And I don't have I haven't done the research that the Bangor Daily's done, but I think if we looked at that school committee over the years, we'd see something relatively similar. And I just think it's an important issue. I know there's nothing we can do as a school committee on this issue, that it's a city issue, but I just wanted to sort of shed some light on it. And I hope that the city looks into it and looks into possibly different ways that we could elect both city councilors and school committees in the future. Thanks.
Agreed. Member John.
I just want to echo that sentiment, Member Surratt, and I also found the article particularly interesting. Given the fact that I am one of the few representatives from a different section of town, right, on the school committee here, but I think that it does make a difference, even though we don't engage with parents as school committee members, like advocating or not, just knowing that we're there in a different part of the town and that we're approachable and they can talk to us if they want to, or, you know, feel in the loop a little bit more, it makes a difference in my anecdotal experience. So I'm curious to see how that progresses as well. And I think that Member Surratt is right. I think that it is something that is important both at the city council and the school committee level. So thank you for bringing it up.
Any other questions, comments?
I mean, I just want to echo what, two committee members said. Like, I agree, actually, when I was running, there were a lot of things that some people, knocking on doors would say. Like, I feel like I'm not being represented on the school committee or in the city council, and I think I can go into it, but I think it's an equity issue there. I think there are some things that we could do, as a committee to make it more equitable and possible for other people to feel comfortable running, school committees. That might be something we can discuss later. Like the time of the meeting or the ways to get there, or, you know, where the meeting is located and things like that.
Any other comments? Member Lisa.
I just, to the point of access, I just want to give an apology for the faces I've been making this meeting. I can't hear it all. I have auditory processing issues because of my fun brain. And so with this blowing, I can't hear anything. So I'm just making faces and watching your mouths move. So I apologize if it's really off-putting, but I can't hear you. So I'm sorry.
I really, yeah. I'll make sure you're moved. Thank you. Sorry, no, it's okay. Who knew? We're moving on to representatives' reports. Do we have any from the committee? You remember right? Yeah. You hesitated for a second.
Well, hello, yes. Yes. So, for the UTC update, I am happy to share that I attended my first UTC board meeting last week, and it miraculously coincided with their amazing end of the year holiday event, where all of the culinary students presented this lovely meal, and we were able to engage with so many of the students and the educators at UTC. In addition to having a board meeting and looking at their new welding lab, which they've just opened with brand new venting systems, and every one of the students in the welding lab, the 20 of them, were gifted brand new state-of-the-art hoods. From the partnerships that they have developed at UTC, it was a fantastic welcome to that board, and to be able to see the incredible work that is happening there. I definitely look forward to more meetings and actually digging into the work, but the very first meeting that we had was really wonderful as a new member, and really great to see some of the new experiences that they were excited to share with us.
Thank you so much. That wasn't too bad.
That's what you wanted. Well, I don't know. That's perfect.
Any other committee updates? I know we're just all starting to attend our first one. So I attended the first DEIB advisory committee, and we've broken that committee into subcommittees. This is the second one, yes. Mental health, curriculum, PD, and curriculum, and trauma-informed and mental improvement, yes, recruitment and retention, and then PD. And so what was really interesting is that, you know, we used to have a mental health advisory committee on its own. Member Wendell, or former member Claire Wendell, was on that one, and so we consolidated. We brought the mental health into DEIB because many of the members felt like we should bring those two together. There's a lot of equity issues as well, and so I am part of that subcommittee, and it was wonderful. Many members were missing that day. It was December 5th, but we, you know, really
brainstormed some wonderful ideas to bring forth. We're gonna pull on some of the former mental health committee members. Superintendent Tigger is on that committee, so we get to work together on that as well. So more to come, and we will keep you updated on all the wonderful work, the progress that's happening there. And then Member O'Carey's on the recruitment and retention subcommittee, and she will keep us abreast. And I know Principal Butler is on there, and so a lot of great work is happening there. So more to come soon. Any other committee updates? No? So we'll move on to our student committee member updates. Member Dussaban and Member Crespo.
Good evening, just have a couple brief updates tonight. The Bruins game just started 50, guys, I'm also trying to make this clear. I've been watching the last 15 minutes just. That was a joke. Winter sports have just started up recently, so hockey just had their first game last week against Hampton Academy. I don't know if we won that or not. We did? Good. That's good. The JROTC program just held the Pearl Harbor Memorial Service in downtown Bangor on December 7th. A very successful event. I want to additionally thank Superintendent Tigger for coming down to support the program during that event. Again, the Rocapa National Honor Society and the Bangor High School Service Club are going to be hosting a movie night and a bake sale this Friday to support families who are affected by the Lewiston shootings. So raising funds for a really good cause. And I don't have a date for this, but the class of 2026 is going to be holding the Bangor High School Craft Fair coming up. So if anyone would like to register as a vendor, the fee is going to be $15. And just today, the Maine Board of Education came by for a routine visit for Bangor High School, and Sophia and I were lucky enough to do a big tours to board members. So I thought that was really good today.
Just one more thing. This school offered the seal by literacy exam last week to Spanish, Chinese, and French students, all in whatever level it is that they're taking, and the results were distributed today. Thank you.
Appreciate it. So we're moving on to information items. We have several important dates. Friday, December 22nd, 2023 is Bangor Day. Wednesday, January 10th, 2024, regular meeting 7 p.m. right here in this room. Wednesday, January 24th, 2024, regular meeting 7 p.m. here at the Bangor High JROTC room. Friday, February 2nd, 2024, Bangor School Committee Retreat, 9 a.m. That is TBA in terms of location. And Wednesday, February 14th, 2024, regular meeting 7 p.m. here in this room as well. Final call for questions and or comments.
I just wanted to ask, I know you had some comments on the mental health committee. Is there still student involvement in that? I know that Member Mundell last year was talking about students.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have, I believe, 2 students and the mental health committee.
We do.
Yeah. And we really opened it up for the students who wish to be involved, and so we're happy to take on more if more fully requested. Thank you. And I do have a question. I know we were in the news for this, wonderful donations, all the books that were donated, and so could you please tell us a little bit more about that, Superintendent Tigger?
Sure can. We had a program at Fairmont School yesterday. It was through I'm Your Neighbor, and it was a $35,000 donation of books. I think 10,000 came from I'm Your Neighbor, and the other 25 was from the Stephen and Tabitha King Foundation. Very generous gift. Each of the schools are getting 90 books, and the I'm Your Neighbor theme basically is somebody new comes into the school and you welcome that person. So it was really a kind of a tear-jerking type of assembly, and they opened up the curtains at the school and all these books were there. High school students, 15 high school students came and read one of the books to the students. Charles was there from the refugee committee. He's from Uganda, and he made a parallel with Superman and talked to the 4th and 5th graders about Superman. What does Superman do? And at first Superman didn't have friends and then had these superpowers. And would you like to have those superpowers, and would you welcome other people to your school, and could you learn from them? So it was really very age appropriate. It was a great gift. Very thankful for the Kings, and I'm in your neighborhood. And I will say this,
Andrea Sprague was kind of the lead on this, the media specialist there, so she deserves credit, and Ryan Edmond too. I will tell you, the gym was packed with about 250 kids. And we worked without a microphone. I've never seen kids so attentive. So they really were good, and there were a number of speakers. Is there anything that you want to add? It's a generous gift, and I think it's an important one. It was kind of, Principal Mitzbrenner spoke about the idea of a global club. This is a book that kind of opens the lives for all of our students to understand the culture of students coming in. We have 53 languages being spoken in the Bangor School Department. So it was like a right on time, very generous gift. Is there anything you want to add? I don't know how you did it, but your kids were so good. So thank you for that. What's that? Very entertaining. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was about an hour long, and the kids were just so good. It's a credit to all of our principals and our kids.
Thank you, Superintendent Tager, and I ask because there's a lot of buzz around this in the community and a lot of gratitude as well. So it's wonderful for our students. Thank you. Last thoughts? Okay, seeing none. Adjournment, can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
In favor, all those in favor?
Thank you.
Perfect.